You'll have people protest that they want $15 minimum wage, they want higher salaries, they want more benefits, while simultaneously demanding higher taxes for corporations and more regulations. If we thought about Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Tea with Taylor. I saw these the other day when I was at Trader Joe's and they're pretty good. 0 calories, 0 added sugar, original black tea, so pretty good in my opinion. So in this episode, I want to walk through my thought process on a topic that I've been thinking about a lot lately. And it's that as a society, we've grown addicted to cheap and convenience and how it's costing us our prosperity and our freedom. And some of you may be thinking, well, isn't cheaper products and convenience a good thing? And of course, to an extent, I agree. The innovation and the human ingenuity, the amount that we've progressed as a society and as a world is tremendous. And it's something that should be celebrated. What humans can accomplish is truly incredible. I mean, you think about our grandparents and how they grew up and they look at the society and the amount of technology and convenience that we have today, and it's probably something that they couldn't even have conceptualized. And so, of course, that's something to be celebrated. But like everything, there's costs and benefits. So the benefits is we all live a much more easy life. For the most part, of course, I'm speaking about here in America and I'm most of the developed world, that we don't have to worry about where our next meal is. We have air conditioners, we have heaters, majority of people have cars, we have this mini computer that walks around with us everywhere where we can look up information, we can talk to people across the world and in a snap of a finger. We can purchase a product from across the world with a swipe of a finger. And it's truly incredible. But at what cost? Here in America, we used to pride ourselves on being a manufacturing force for the world. That we used to employ our people, that we used to create businesses in America, made in America. Our products were quality and they were made here. We were supporting our local community. But as we become more prosperous, we've tend to become more greedy, that we care more about having an abundance of things at a cheaper price and not caring maybe about where they're sourced or where they're coming from. And the cheaper, the better. And the convenience. Rather than maybe waiting a few days for a product from a company that's local, Amazon will have it at your door by tomorrow. And Amazon, it's an innovation. It's a tremendously innovative company. But us always looking to purchase cheap products and for the convenient products, where is the rest of that cost coming from for that benefit? I would argue that actually it's a far greater cost than many of us conceptualize. A cost of American jobs, a cost of American products, a cost of less loyalty to our communities, a cost of awareness of what it is we're purchasing and where it is that it's made and how it's made, and a cost of less freedom and individual privacy of each of us. So let's break that down a little bit further. When I start off by saying less American jobs and less American products, that affects our society and our community and overall our prosperity. When we have less manufacturing and less companies here in the States, we have less jobs to employ. And what's ironic, and us being conscious beings, I believe the more developed we become as a society, the less conscious we become as humans. And I don't know if people really don't make the connection, they're really that unaware of what goes on, or if they're willfully blind. Like, you'll have people protest that they want $15 minimum wage, they want higher salaries, they want more benefits, while simultaneously demanding higher taxes for corporations and more regulations. If we thought about things, you would know that higher taxes and more regulations are more red tape and cost to these companies. Therefore, that cost gets trickled down and situated somewhere. And that means less employees, less or smaller amount of benefits, or lesser of a wage, because they have to pay higher taxes and abide by these more regulations. Or worst case scenario, they go overseas and those jobs aren't even here in the States. So when we're demanding so much of society, think about what it is you're demanding and how that impacts the things that you're demanding. You want higher wages, you want more jobs, you want more opportunities, then we need to want a healthier, inviting work environment for companies and corporations. Because business is business, and companies and business people will go where it makes more financial sense for them. And these same people that demand that they want higher wages and that they want more benefits for their people because they deserve it, are usually the same people that buy all their products cheap off Amazon and from China. And if we know a little bit about China, they don't have the same regulations and laws for their people and their workers. They have slave labor, they have child labor, they have less regulation as far as the environment goes. And we're willing to pay for the cheaper products, even if they are from China, for example, rather than pay a higher price from America. And we're demanding regulation and taxes for people that no longer want to do business in America, and so they go and do it in China. And I don't know if we're just hypocrites or if we literally lack the self-awareness. I'm truly astonished by it. I really, really am. Like, when I see people and they say things, or that they demand things, and it's so counterintuitive or counterproductive to what their end goal is. And like I said, I'm lost for words for it almost. I don't know if we're stupid, hypocrites, or I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But as I continue, so the lack of the awareness of what we're purchasing and where it's coming from is part of the problem. We need to want to be more conscious consumers. And for those things that you're so passionate about, and whether it be the environment or whether it be humans and employees getting the benefits you think they deserve, well, make sure that the products and the services that you're supporting do that. And following up on that, so obviously that hinders our prosperity, because when companies are either employing less or going overseas and we aren't creating the products here in America, that affects our prosperity and our opportunities for our nation. While simultaneously, I said it affected and there was a cost to our freedom and privacy. And I think people now in 2021 are more aware of this. Like, when we have free products and services on our phone, it's not free, we're the product. They take our data, they sell our data, and we really don't have privacy. And part of that is because we're so addicted to convenience. Some people literally have Alexas in their house to turn off the lights or on the lights and to turn down the volume because they don't want to do it themselves. Where this thing is listening to you at all times. And even with our phones, like, we have it tracking us at all times. I hope to have a phone and a computer that are compatible where we don't have to have them track all our information. I'd be even willing to pay a minimal fee for public forums and social medias that don't track my data, because it's important to have a specific amount of privacy, especially when these companies, specifically in China, but here in the States too, they're just a little bit less transparent about it. Big tech, big government. So when they're working simultaneously, not only are you allowing these big corporations and tech companies to have your data, they simultaneously work with big government. And so you, without having privacy of your individual data and habits, that is part of the reason we have, like, the Constitution and the Fourth Amendment, is for the government not to have this access to our information because it's none of their business. And so we are slowly getting rid of our freedom for convenience. And as we adapt through, and as time goes on, we think we need these things and we really don't. And another good example of how it affected not only our prosperity and our freedom is with COVID. I don't know if many of you guys realize, but there was a time when the world shut down and we needed these life-sustaining drugs and medical equipment, and they weren't made here in America. We were reliant on China for things like Tylenol and medical gear. There should never be a time where the United States of America is dependent on another country for survival, specifically a foreign adversary like China. The fact that we couldn't have the masks and these drugs was shocking to me and eye-opening. Like, where has our politicians been? What have they been doing that they allowed us to sell and to get rid of these industries, because they made it so difficult here in America that we now look to China to save us. And imagine the amount of leverage that gives China when countries all around the world, even the United States of America, are dependent on them. You think that gives them leverage in policy? All of these things are intertwined, and us as a society either just turned a blind eye or just didn't care to think about it, or we're unaware of it. And shame on our politicians for allowing it. They don't mind taxing the hell out of America, putting forth further regulation that hinders business and hinders innovation here in the States, while simultaneously allowing China to sell all of their products and services in America. Yet we can only sell our products and services to China that are approved by the CCP and at a cost, because we get charged tariffs. They get free trade. Free trade. It's not. And we need to be aware of this. And we as a nation should never be dependent on another nation for life-sustaining industries, whether that be medical, food, energy. And it's time that we recognize that when you lose this in a society and in a nation, you can't claim to be a global superpower. And who do we want to be a global superpower? And who do we want to be dependent on? We should want to be independent. Should want to be an independent nation, that we again value having businesses and companies in our country to support our fellow countrymen in our communities, to have decent livings and to grow as a nation, but not being dependent on the global superpowers of the nations. That we don't want a global government and a global society. Of course, we want to help one another and we want to see the world prosper, but not at the cost of seeing our own nation be weakened. And how did we get here, you think? In my opinion, I think it's because we suffer from privilege. We here are the most privileged people to ever live in all of human history. And so, for one, we have a horrible perspective. We have a horrible perspective on all aspects, in my opinion. We lack gratitude, and we are very greedy and needy. We demand many things, and we think the world and our country owe us everything. Yet, we don't even hold ourselves to the standard that we hold society. That we want society to pay all these living wages, $15 minimum wage, all these benefits, yet we will quickly pay for the cheaper product because it's convenient for us and it's cheaper for us, so then we can have more. And I really think it's time for us to be more aware of ourselves and of our habits, and to hold ourselves to a higher standard when it comes to our purchasing habits and the products and companies that we support, that they support, and that they are to the standard that of our values, and that these companies and these products are ethically sourced and ethically made to the standard that we want to hold our society to. So maybe that means paying a few extra bucks for a product that's made in your community, so you're supporting not only an ethically sourced and made product, but you're supporting the financial situations of the people within your community. And when we all do that, we support the financial situation of our country. And I think it's really, really important. And if there's one thing that I hope we become, is being a conscious consumer, knowing the products that we purchase, knowing the company that we support, and how they go about their means of business. And also being conscious of the things that we're demanding of our society, whether it be taxes, regulations, and how that impacts what we also want when it comes to opportunities and jobs, because they are all intertwined. They all play a part. And that we demand that our politicians create an inviting environment for businesses, because without a strong economic environment in your country, you do not have a prosperous nation. And innovation is how we also solve the problems, how we've always solved problems, and how we'll continue to solve the problems, whether that be of your concern for the environment or food or in how food is sourced. All of it will be done through innovation. And in order to continue innovation, you need to put monies and effort towards that research and development. And it's up to us to allocate our monies how we see fit, per our values and per our standards. And of course, vote accordingly and demand that your local representatives hold the same values that you do, and also are pushing for legislation or deregulation and delegislation to create that environment that is friendly to corporations and innovation and development, because ultimately that will help all of us. So I want to wrap up by hoping that this gave you guys something to think about. Like I said, I've been trying to be much more conscious of what I purchase, where I purchase from, and I hope to create a clothing company of my own where all of it will be sourced and developed and manufactured here in the States. And I would take you guys behind the scenes of who I work with, how I do it. I don't even know what I'm doing. I started it. We'll see where it goes. That's the plan. And I just challenge all of you to be a conscious consumer, to care about the products that you purchase and to care about the companies that create them, because if we want to see change in society, we have to be the change that we want to see. And I firmly believe that. I firmly believe in the individual. I firmly believe in human ingenuity and innovation, and that when people are given the freedom to work and create as they see fit, that's how we got to the society that we live in today. So we should be very, very, very hesitant to we should be hesitant to have the government forcefully hinder innovation and growth and development when it comes to companies and business here in the States. And lastly, I want to finish off by being aware of when we ship things overseas, specifically to places like China, that is making us as a nation reliant on other countries. And we as the United States of America should be independent in all industries and really within our communities. So again, I hope this gave you something to think about. If it did, I hope you like, comment, share, let me know what you think, share with your families and friends, and be a conscious consumer. I hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you for joining me on Tea with Taylor, and I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I'll take care.